How you doing, guys? Good morning. matohxl here. Just wanted to kind of put together a little kebab video. Go over some of the advantages and disadvantages of kebab, some talents, the rotation, sims, a little bit of log analysis to help you better yourselves. Um, yeah, and we'll just kind of hit the ground running here, put together a quick video, and hopefully this helps some people out in figuring out, what they want to do, slam versus kebab in the future. So some quick pros versus cons, slam versus kebab over here. Just put together a little quick Google Doc. Just a cheaper cost of entry playing kebab, as BS is not required. So if you get the loot drops you need, you have an easier cost of entry here. Um, if your average slam delay is over X amount of MS, for me it's about 500 MS, you'll most likely outperform slam with kebab, given equal gear. The play style plays exactly as Fury, so if you enjoy Fury, you're basically a Fury Warrior with Mortal Strike at that point. The rotation does change a little bit from Fury in execute phase, but I'll go over that as we get there. Due to the rage generation and less static rotation, you also have the ability to pour on more utility for your raid in a progression environment. What I mean by that is you're a lot less restricted when it comes to thunderclapping, improved demoing, stacking your sunders. You just have a lot more rage going generating in this build. And then a point for slam obviously is, given perfect slam play, you would be able to out DPS kebab in equal gear as slam. Slam has a higher ceiling obviously, but it is more difficult to reach that ceiling. So there's just some quick notes I made on kebab versus slam prior to the video. Didn't want to ramble too much, but let's jump right into the talent trees, and can kind of go over what kebab is. So kebab is just another way of bringing the Arms Warrior Blood Frenzy debuff, which is going to buff all the physical damage dealers in your raid. Super important debuff. This is what I'm running in phase one. You know, going to kind of round out this phase essentially. You can see that I do not have the mace specialization talent here. I'm going to be running two swords, Spike Blade and Latros, for the remainder of the phase. It sims the highest for me personally. I'll go over my personal sim as we get there. But talent tree wise, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'll go through the rows. You're obviously going to take 3 out of 3 heroic strike. It's just an ability you're using a lot in the rotation. Might as well have it cost less rage. I go 5 out of 5 deflection. I've been saved, by this talent against like hateful strikes and whatnot, multiple times. So I love having the full 5 parry. 3 to 5 Iron Will, 3 to 3 improved Thunderclap. Kind of self-explanatory. I'm just kind of filling in talents here to get further down the tree. Anger management's huge. Deep Wounds, Impale, Sword Spec, the heart of the spec. Death Wish, this is your big 3-minute CD. A lot of fun to play with. You get 3 out of 3 improved disciplines, which is kind of massive. You're getting a 20-minute recklessness at that point, and extending the duration of your recklessness by 6 seconds. So you're really wrecking in execute phase, and the execute phase is really where kebab shines. And I'll show you the sim breakdown as we get there. But it's a wild execute phase, and you do have rec up more often than any other warrior spec in the game currently. On the Fury side, you're going to take your 5 out of 5 Cruelty, jump down to Unbridled Wrath for this phase. You just at this stage of the game, improved demo is really not necessary, and there is a DPS value associated with each talent point here, so you might as well just if you're at the end of the phase, max out the DPS, have some fun. Unbridled Wrath is what I consider the more fun talent currently. You're obviously going to take Commanding Presence and Rage, so you can get down to Flurry. Dual Wield Specialization, you're only going to take 2 out of 5 here, just lack of talents. And weapon mastery is huge because this is you know, a lot of people don't realize that this is more in line with expertise than hit. So very important talent. You definitely want to take this. And then obviously you're going to have your sweeping strikes, which is, you know, the heart of any warrior PvE cleave. So big talent there. Moving over to one more talent tree, you can see this is my more progression focused build. Um, you know, I'll use the term my loosely, but not mine, obviously. You know, a lot of us have been putting our heads together on Kebab and bringing it out of meme territory. You know, in the last couple weeks. Um, so you can see here on a more progression focused build, I take the point out of intercept, add it to mace specialization. Maybe it's going to be easier for you to prio, you know, nether vortexes um, than it will be to get Talon early in the raid tier. If that's the case, Dragon Strike is going to outsim everything until you get Talon. Um, yeah, so you know you're probably going to want to go that route if that's the easiest upgrade path for you. Um, and I'll go into a little bit some gearing options as we get to the sim. And then in a in a progression environment, obviously you're going to take improved demoralizing shout. SSC and TK, I think is going to be a very important talent. It'll be worth losing the you know 10 or so DPS that 5 out of 5 Unbridled Wrath brings the spec. But those are the only two real changes I would make in a progression environment. Is you know going Unbridled Wrath to improve demo, just help out the raid there. And if you have a quicker path to getting primal, or excuse me, nether vortexes, upgrading your Dragon Maw, you know, you'll go 1 out of 5 mace, 5 out of 5 sword, because that's, you know, at the end of the day, you're not going to be in the loot line with the rogues. You'll probably be behind a rogue, or if your raid has 2 rogues like mine, you'd probably be behind them for Talon. So this might be the quickest upgrade path for you while you wait for that Talon to drop. Getting into the sim, this is my personal Kebab sim using you know my armor loadout. I've been lucky enough to have a you know a DST early in the tier. Um, I think one thing you'll notice with the way that I gear is I go very hit heavy. You know, it's not just about getting that 9% hit cap. It's getting hit, you know, wherever I can get it. Right. My raid runs a boomkin. Um, you know, I'm over cap hit. I'm going as much haste as I can with DST, haste pots, you know, bloodlust, drums, etc. And you know, I'm for the rest of the tier, I'll be running Spike Blade and Latros as well. As I really want to focus on the sword aspect of this build. Um, you know, this isn't simming any socket bonuses. I took those off of my loadout. You know, just kind of a baseline for my gear set. 300-second fight. Um, you know, no recklessness, obviously. No reason to sim that. You're gonna pump it. You're gonna pump recklessness into every execute phase that you can fit it in at the end of the day. Um, so you know, I usually don't sim recklessness, but it's a respectable sim at the end of the day. For right, 1441, the phase 1 bis slam spec, assuming you know 250 ms slam timing, simming around you know like 15-13 DPS. So you're getting beat by a perfect slam player in you know Simland, but at the end of the day, there's you know there's a lot more flexibility that you have as playing a Kebab Warrior versus a Slam Warrior. And again, that also might be more of an opinion thing, but the Slam rotation is very rigid. There's not a lot of room to kind of Jackson Pollock around within that rotation. You know, so having said that, let's kind of just go through uh, some of our ability costs per rage or ability damage per rage (DPR), and how this affects the rotation in different aspects of the fight. Right. Um, so the way that you're going to prioritize your rotation is Whirlwind, Mortal Strike, heroic strike over 50 rage. That's been kind of the sweet spot in sims that I've noticed. And then you know, the rotation changes in execute phase, obviously. So it's a very simple rotation. I almost think it's less rigid than Fury because you know, with that fast offhand, you really are just pumping rage out, fast offhand and sword spec. You know, rage for days. Um, so the you know, the basic rotation priority is going to be whirlwind. You know, mortal strike, heroic strike over 50 rage. Boom, pretty simple. Once you get to execute phase, that changes a bit. You're going to dump mortal strike and you're going to dump heroic strike, and you're only going to execute in whirlwind. So you're going to prioritize whirlwind, and outside of that, you're just executing. So execute, 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 whirlwind when it's up. Those are your two highest damage per rage abilities. And in execute phase, you don't want to press anything but execute or whirlwind, as that's how you'll, you know, get the most out of the spec. Your execute phases are pretty massive on Kebab, right? You're going to have that 21-second recklessness going into every execute phase. You know, maybe not every execute phase, depending on how fast your guild is, but you know, it'll be there for a lot of them, and you're gonna hit. So if you stick with that kind of rotational breakdown based on the sims, you know, I've run many sims. I'm just kind of going over my loadout sims here. You know, you'll do good things with Kebab. Um, you know, and then I actually simmed out the value per talent just to kind of show you, you know, what Unbridled Wrath is bringing per talent. So it's actually bringing about 15 DPS. So if you're in a, you know, if you're in a pump phase of the phase, right, where you're just trying to get the most damage out of something and your tanks aren't worrying about dying, you know, you probably don't need the improved demo. And I grabbed a couple logs just to kind of like show them on a screen share, you know, what people are doing with the spec right now. The first log I have is you know, one of my guild's mag kills. You know, you can see I pulled a respectable 1454 DPS. This was prior to me really optimizing the rotation in sims as well. This was just the first time I had played Kebab. I was running Demo and Latros here. So not the best play. I was also still running Grips of Deafness because I thought that you know, I hadn't flushed out all of my what I consider the, you know, my best Kebab gearing items at the time. So I've definitely changed the way I gear a little bit. You know, you can see in my sim I'm running Rage Steel 2-piece and Warbringer 2-piece, and that Warbringer 2-piece obviously really gives a nice boost to your whirlwind damage, and that's, you know, or your whirlwind damage per rage, which that's how you kind of you lift that whirlwind priority in execute phase, you know, and outside of execute phase, obviously, with that 2-piece. But yeah, so I mean, you know, there's not a perfect mag kill by any means, right? Almost a 5-minute kill. You know, one lust. You know, just a very simple example of what your average guild could do, right? You know, we're not breaking any records over here. But let's look at some people who are breaking records, right? So here's my buddy Rye. He's done a lot of Kebab theory crafting and hype. This is his most recent mag log, and he just crushes it, right? Almost 1900 DPS. What? Is that a BM hunter behind him? We're buffing this guy. We're buffing this guy. What's going on here? Living in the meme. The thing I really like the most about Rye's guild's kill of mag here, you know, 4-minute kill time, obviously, they're crushing it. But they you know, Rye didn't get 2 lusts. He didn't get, you know, any of the things people consider very memey about logs, right? He got his 1 lust handed to him in the beginning of the fight, you know, stuck to his rotation, went heavy in the execute phase. I don't think he actually used Whirlwind in execute, which would have yielded him, yeah, would have yielded him even a better parse there, if he's running the two piece. Let's see what Rye's running. I'm sure he is at this stage of it. Yeah, so he actually had room to improve here, since he was running the two piece warbringer. Um, yeah, I mean he's got the number 15 mag parse period right now, single lust, and he had room for improvement. He's not even running double swords, right? Double swords will actually sim a little bit higher than Dragon Maw. He's running Vindicators, so he's not running the fast offhand, losing a little bit of expertise there. Um, this just shows you, right, that you have room for improvement in the build. Again, that's based around sims, though. You need more live test logs like this. So great job, Rye. Awesome kill for his guild here. 4-minute mag is nothing to mess with. Come over here and check out our boy Crilton. This is one of the more, quote unquote famous kebab logs. Sub 4-minute mag kill. They're crushing it. Krilton, same thing though. Another Dragon Maw with a Gladiator's Pummeler offhand. So we went full mace. So, yes, he gets the double lust in execute phase here, which is absolutely massive. That's gonna that's gonna turn this into kind of a meme log. But at the end of the day, it shows you that if you support the kebab, good things will come, right? Good things will come to those who support the kebab. And then another log that I had queued up here is just another mag log, hardcaw. Crushing it, not meme, single lust, almost 1800 DPS. What was he running here? Yeah, another Dragon Maw Vindicators brand, combo. Um, you're gonna see this combo a lot, right? Um, and here's why. Because on these fights where there is any cleave, um, the heavier offhand, right, is going to yield you a little bit better cleave damage than Latros. Um, I really want to stick to Spikeblade Latros and just kind of see what I can do with the rest of the tier, with that setup. But having said that, if you are Aldor, Vindicators is a great offhand for any fight with cleave. I would go Latros or Gladiator Quickblade for single target as an offhand on like a hard single target fight like Gruul. But you should get more out of the heavier offhand for like High King and Mag because you do have that ad cleave phase. So that's just going through some logs I had pulled up. I'll link all of these in the video so that you can kind of go through these at your leisure. I didn't go too in depth here. I don't want the video to carry on too long. Um, Kebab is not a meme. It's here to stay, boys. I just wanted to kind of put this video together for anybody who has questions. I've been getting a ton of messages on Discord about Kebab lately. I've been more active in Fight Club lately because of some, personal issues that a lot of people know that I've been going through. But, happy to have knocked COVID out of the park. Still recovering there. Yeah, and I hope you guys enjoy the kebab spec. If you have any questions, you can always catch me on Discord as matohxl in Fight Club. I actually don't even know my numbers, so I'll link that in the video as well. But anyway, in an effort to not ramble too much, have a great morning. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the kebab spec, guys.